about the riots. David Cameron said the riots were about criminality. They were pure and simple criminality. Now that is a nice thing for a politician to say, but what that does is it means it's not our problem. Because when he just says it's the criminals that have done that. And actually I think some deeper issues here. And even Twitter went for a little while, and Twitter became the worst Daily Mail reader in the world for a little while, over the period of the... Because I was trying to ask some questions about why the riots happened, and I felt like everyone was just saying, you know, hang them, burn them, chop their bits off, and all that kind of stuff. And in fact, there was a time in Twitter for a few days during the riots when I felt about as welcome as a fart in a spacesuit. It was really that bad. Because I think it's important that we actually grapple with some of the big issues and ask why it's going to happen. Now, John Pitts, the criminology professor, said that riots are actually quite complex. And it's not easy to try and find out why they actually happened. And it's not just thuggery, which I think is a lovely quote. And so I'm going to try and explain a little bit of that to you. In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to try and tell you why people rioted, according to the London School of Economics, The Guardian, the Home Office, and a few other reports that I've researched and read on your behalf. So I'm going to give it a go. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Very good. Well, first of all, it wasn't about gangs. The Tory government were wrong. It wasn't about gangs. Only 7% of the people that were arrested were involved in a gang. There weren't race riots. They were partially to do with tuition fees and the loss of EMA, the Educational Maintenance Allowance. But those were minor issues. One of the main issues was anger at the police, especially around stop and search. And many young people say in these interviews that the idea of them being stopped and searched without a real cause has caused lots of issues, and that is mistrust. Also, young people have been quite angry now at authority figures, and that's obviously been a theme throughout the generations. But the MP's expenses scandal certainly didn't help in that way, as it means that we can't trust MPs, and I wonder whether any young people will vote at all now. And of course, there's fun and hedonism. One young person who was involved in the riots just said it was just a bit of a rave. It was a bit of a laugh. Now, I did some things when I was a teenager, I'm sure one or two of you did here, that I'm not particularly proud of now. And you kind of go along. If there's a party, you do. Then you kind of go along. The other thing was free stuff. Opportunism. That when people were walking by, they were hanging out, you'll see the videos, a lot of people not actually rioting. But then when a shop was looted, they thought, I think I've got a chance of some free stuff. So people nipped in and did that. The other interesting thing was people started to blame Twitter and Facebook, but that wasn't true. But BBM, the anonymous BBM, which is basically almost exclusively teenage language, I can't understand what they're saying on BBM, did actually cause and incite some of the riots, which is fascinating. But I think, personally, the elephant in the room is about consumerism. Because I wonder, as someone who's worked with young people for 20 years, whether we are actually bringing up a generation now where consumerism has become their new religion. And actually what was strikingly different for me about these riots, and the riots in '81 and other disturbances we've had in this country, is that people were looking out for TVs. That's what it seems to think like. It's almost like we've said that success is getting a nice car and getting a TV. And there was a lot of sport shops broken into. And there was some strange reports of looters going in, but actually trying on shoes to get the right size so they can take them away, including one of a mum and a toddler, getting a toddler to do that. My main concern as someone who works with young people, of course, is the low self-esteem. What are we telling young people? And I think this idea of calling hoodies, we're having a real go at young people. And I have a real concern now that we have almost demonised a whole generation, telling them that they're no good. And young people are saying to us, don't tell us that we're no good. When there's Facebook groups that are encouraging boys and girls and teaching each other how to cut themselves, we know we've got some problems around self-esteem. And I think it's great that the riots were able to clean up. It was wonderful. It saw the best side of the UK, people getting out with their brushes and brooms. But the real riot clean-up is how we treat young people and how we look at society and what we're actually teaching them. Because I think that my job as a dad of Ria and Lauren is to bring up positive young women, to encourage them, to help them, to nudge them every now and again, but also to encourage them. And I wonder that if we encourage young people more and thought about what we were actually teaching them, whether we'd ever have riots at all. Thank you.